Hello, and welcome to another Wargame or Dragoncast from me, Rangru. And today we have a 1v1 on Nuclear Winter is coming from the Disposable deck tournament. And well, on the left hand side in the blue we have Putin187 playing a Scandi deck. And on the right hand side in the red we have AmberT playing a Red Dragons Mechanized deck. So some rather interesting contenders and a rather interesting opening as we're seeing here from AmberT. There's a whole lot of stuff being brought down south, and Putin opting for a little bit more of a helicopter push here of 3 recon lynxes filled up with Jagaris, if I can say them properly, but they're not really going to matter as the ones down south are all now very much dead. As those transports do have anti-aircraft missiles, which is a rather nifty feature. AmberT is getting a very good early engagement in the southern side here, ambushing the Fallschirmjägers. Putin, he does have some pretty heavy forces here, the ATGMs, he has some STRVs, and good units nonetheless, but he does not have the quantity. That's for damn sure, and AmberT's really pulling all the strings down south. Up north, we're seeing a little bit of play here from AmberT, just getting on the CV and, a few transports here and there. Or Putin just unloads a single Jaeger. Yeah, Putin's just getting really just buggered here. These two STRVs are rather nasty customers, and a lot of AmberT's forces is mechanized, which shouldn't be a surprise for his deck. But with all the infantry unloading, that's going to be a pain in the ass to try and route out. That's a very good defensive position. And he really doesn't have enough firepower to actually kill them. As by God, he has a lot of dudes in there, and Putin doesn't have that many dudes. Does have aircraft, AmberT that is. And has to be a pretty good hit on top of those Fallschirmjägers. Oh, misses a bit, but still kills a half dozen of them or so. While all of this is going on, AmberT is actually going to be flanking around the southern side here, trying to sneak into India. And he should be able to do this. LKVs are a little bit preoccupied right now, and you can get a good hold onto India down south here in the town. That will give you a pretty good early advantage. But Putin is going to be capturing the northern reinforcement point here. And it is funny how so far this match is essentially devolving down south through this not so narrow, but still a choke point area. Well, what I find so interesting about this map is just how large it is really for 1v1, especially compared to other maps such as Mud Fighters. You got a huge chunk of land which you have to contest with up here. And there's definitely a lot of opportunities for flanking maneuvers around this area. And Putin's going to be setting up a defensive perimeter now, just with some cheap infantry to secure the positions. AmberT, he's getting very good map control. He's getting into Delta, he's got Alpha under his control, and of course down south into India with that big +2 sector. If he can capture this, that's a pretty good area to hold, and it's a pretty easy area to hold once you fully capture it, because there's only 2 bridges leading into it, and bridges are pretty easily defensible choke points. Right now, AmberT's really just stuck in the rut in between India and Foxtrot. He does have the forces to push up, but he is just not... Well, he's starting to do that now a little bit. As we can see, it's pretty barren here from Putin. He's really just focusing on getting cheap infantry reinforcements, just trying to hold some ground which he has, which isn't a whole lot. Getting a recon helicopter as well to try and scout things out. Ego's trying to sneak in down south, but run into some nasty infantry. Yeah, but he's still holding on to India, just a few of his North Korean shock troopers. Yeah, both sides really just investing pretty heavily in the infantry game. Jaegers up north finally get spotted, and we'll see how well they do. They're in a pretty good defensive position, mind you, and actually beating up the Banshees pretty easily, but the second squad coming in, that should change things. And indeed it does. As yet, Jaeger will surely go down in just a few seconds. AmberT does manage to get into the forest position in between India and Foxtrot, a rather good position to contest into India with, as it's a lot of area where you can put in sneaky ATGMs to snipe anything that tries to get close. Doesn't have ATGM set up yet, but, you know, a few North Korean guys with RPGs also works as well if they get a little bit closer. It does have the band tanks nearby. Oh, not as nearby, but they're slowly going to get more nearby as they move up into a rather nice defensive position. We have two SCRVs here. Try and hold out line. We're going to have a little bit of a tank fight here between the PTZ and the SCRVs, and while the SCRV's armor and also rather quick fire rate definitely comes out supreme. Don't forget that thing's a bloody 15 rounds a minute, which is really fast for a tank cannon. We have a double rate of a standard tank cannon on average. Of course, it's not as powerful, but it's pretty accurate, and you got... I mean, the AP power is gonna be alright against a Red Dragon's mechanized tank. As we've seen with AmberT, he's really only using lighter, and he has like a bit of medium armor of the Chonomers. I can't say it's the North Korean tank. Well, and anything, I mean, the SCRVs are going to be more than fine. And are really good at dealing with that medium and light armor threat because you've got the high fire rate. And Putin's just holding, and frankly, that's all he really needs to be doing right now. He's got a nice +2 on Charlie. He's getting another CV, so he's getting another +2 on India here, which will give him a +4. And AmberT may want to start thinking about, you know, buying some commander vehicles, as we see so often in 1v1 replays. You know, if you ignore those command zones, you're going to be in a bit of a pickle, unless you manage to completely dominate the enemy position. And on this map, that's a little bit hard. Because, as I've said before, the bridges are easy to hold, it also makes it pretty hard to attack over them. And if you want to try and knock out Hotel, well, it's a pretty big hotel, it's going to be pretty hard. AmberT is kind of forced to skirmish in and around India. I mean, the good thing Putin does have relatively good control over it still is that will allow him to bring up his CV. AmberT is bringing out some of the World War II firepower, some SU-100s. I mean, heck, it's still a big gun, whether it's 1945 in Berlin or 1989 in somewhere in Southeast Asia. 100mm gun will make a lot of people's days rather bad when it's shot to Wargame. You know, the fuel efficiency could be a little bit to be desired. Putin also going pretty old school style, some M41s. That's not exactly World War II, a little bit later with these Walker Bulldogs, but just like old school vehicles, really bad fuel efficiency. How do they actually match up? They do have... I have terrible AP, I forget about that, but they are really cheap. The same from the SU-100s. They have better AP and only 5 points more expensive. With the band tanks in a sneaky position here to get some ATGM shots if the ATGMs can actually hit. There we go, India captured, and Putin is getting that lovely, lovely +4. AmberT, like, he really needs to spend his next income on getting a CV into Foxtrot and also run up north into Alpha, because he really can't be affording to lose that +4 bleed like this for a long period of time. I mean, he's going very offensive up north, as we're seeing here. He's got a little bit more better control over Delta. Up north in Charlie and Alpha, he's starting to push. It's not really all that scary up north in Charlie. You do have the one ATGM troop, and it is a very good ATGM, mind you. But it's just some infantry and light armor scattered all around. And one SDRV which is slowly being brought up. ZSD having a pretty bad time from the RBS. Which sounds like some sort of chronic pain that you'd have when you're 60 years old. Being diagnosed with RBS. Yeah, Putin, I mean, he's doing really good, even though he doesn't have fantastic map control, as this middle Indian Foxtrot is not in his favour, and he is getting pushed a little bit up north. He still has the majority of the important sectors under his control, and more so, and yeah, he has command vehicles in them, so he's getting that lovely points. Now, that's quite interesting why he decided to put the command infantry here in a more forward position compared to the rear factory. I guess it's a lot less obvious, but in his current position, I mean, they shouldn't be under too much threat. Yeah, but he's still not buying a command vehicle. This is very disconcerting. He's buying a lot of more frontal troops. But these frontal troops aren't going to give you the points. I mean, they can lead to the points if you manage to get the enemy points, but it's going to be a bit tough. He's still trying to push into India here, but Putin just has enough defences to hold. The SDRV being a real pain in the bum. He's been doing pretty good. I mean, he's only down to 5 shots left, which is a problem, but that's a good problem to have in array. Yeah, Putin's just getting really easy points here. I'm really quite disconcerted about how AmberT is completely ignoring the command zones. I mean, this has been going on for a few minutes now, and he's just been allowing Putin to get at +4. I mean, he is making progress, slowly but surely, but it's slowly. And time is really not on his side. He's trying to move some infantry up north here, but here we go. Putin's already at 70%. He has managed to completely capture Delta and is moving forward, but he needs to start sniping those CVs. Putin is getting really just enough defensive units to slow down AmberT's push. There we go, 80%. Now AmberT really needs to make something happen right now. He does not have much time. There we go, the commandos are actually going to fire because he didn't turn off the machine gun, only the assault rifle, which I guess is just a miss micro, or we just misclicked it. That will spot it, and if I was AmberT, I'd try and nuke out some sort of aircraft or tank or anything really, just blow out bugger out of the sky. But he's not in the sky, he's on the ground. Out of the building, there we go. Just blowing the hell up. There we go, is that CV finally being brought in from AmberT. He's realised just how bad things have gone. And there we go, he's got one of the Foxtrot. But still, that's a very tight score he's going to have to work with. Like, at this point, he's going to need to cause a full collapse of Putin's lines. And I think that could be a possibility, really. I mean, looking at how AmberT is, you know, starting to push a little bit down south around here. It's still going to be tough because Goph is a spawn point area, and you know Charlie and Goph are actually pretty well defensible. You got a lot of forests and towns which you can work around in. AmberT needs a he needs a +4 of his own if he wants to try and get back into this. There we go, just down to a 0-0. He can get a +1 easily by getting a CV into Delta, but he's gonna need a little bit more now. He pretty much just needs to capture India. It's not too hard of a proposition really, because you can just sort of ignore down south here in a way. I mean, you still got the ATGMs, which is a pain. If you can just hook around the northern side of India and try to clear out East Forest, set up defenses in there, you cut off the reinforcements from the bridges, and then you can just deal with whatever stragglers are left on this side of this. I say little, but it's a pretty big island. It's not even really an island, it's just other side of the river. This is one of the few maps I'd argue which actually have, like, relatively reasonable bridge positions. It's not, unless you're talking about hotel, but that's kind of near the enemy spawn point. And not too much choke pointy, they just allow you to, at certain areas, cross from one side of the map to the other. Which is more interesting than just some wargame maps, like 30 Parallel, where you're just fighting over river choke points the entire time. We did see some Chinese, North Korean, I think they're North Korean APCs trying to sneak into hotel, but they did get stopped by some good Scandi mechanized. There we go, AmberT is finally getting that +2 point advantage. If it gets Delta on a +3, it might be enough to catch up, but still, it's going to be risky. He did snipe the CV in India, which is quite a nice kill. There's another one being brought in. And Putin's actually going a little bit on an offensive for India here. Flanking with his SCRVs and Falchimiagas. There's not a whole lot in here, really. It looks like a lot, but it's just some APCs, some ATGM troops, and like a light tank. You know, it's Falchimiagas, or however you say it in, I believe it's Norwegian? Yeah, it's Norwegian. Like, pretty good troops. The heavy machine guns sound to prove a bit of a pain, but hey, they got Eric's. They don't really care too much about vehicles. Just as long as they're within, you know, 800, 900 meters or so. I believe it's a range? No, it's 1,050, my bad. It's a pretty long range for a rocket launch. I mean, it's an ATGM, but you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean, because I don't know what I mean most of the time. Yeah, Putin's starting to clap back into India, getting a 0-0. And that's what he needs is a 0-0. Heck, even a +1 on the AmberT side, +2, it's not really going to matter for Putin at this point. He has such a huge points lead. The Falchimiagas are probably going to go down here in a bit. Infantry reinforcements going to catch him off guard and encroach out position. But Putin's actually put in his Delta now I look at it. Got Stormiers moving through, he's managed to secure Charlie and actually starting to put in into Alpha now. If this sort of momentum, that's looks like it's pretty much gonna be it. I do love how we'll just choose the size of this map. You can do these flanker maneuvers with just a few light vehicles as we see here. DV's getting some good snipes and some enemy transports. Thus he got infantry into Alpha already. Some Jaegers really making the far flank down south. There we go, the Alpha CV goes down as Putin's got the momentum, and yeah, that +3, he's gonna get the points and actually win to getting the full 500 points of victory. Or, oh, not almost, AmberT critted out just before the end, but he still pretty much got it. But there we go, good game, a 700, 800, yeah, like an 800 or so kill difference between both players, and that's a really great sign from AmberT from completely ignoring those command zones so early on. Like, he wasn't being pushed, he had Putin on the defensive. He could have spent that time just getting 2 CVs to not lose by such a huge points lead. Because I feel like if he managed to do that, he could have run that game, really. He had a very good momentum. Putin did trade out better towards the end, as we saw. But AmberT was pushing pretty strong early on. If he managed to, consolidate CVs and then, I want to say like fully push an area, but buying the CVs earlier would give you less points to push, which would make it harder. Oh no, it was a bit of a tricky one there from AmberT. I feel like actually down south, if he managed to completely secure India sooner, because he definitely had the forces to be a little bit more aggressive, as we see with our Gold Division. There wasn't a whole lot down there from Putin for the early part of the game after everything just got destroyed. It could have been a pretty easy defensive point for AmberT to hold and just defend, yes, keep the northern side neutral, and get on a nice +2, +3 point advantage for the match. But yeah, that's how it goes. People just ignore the CVs, and then the CVs come and bite you in the ass. And well, I'm going to leave it at that. This has been another Wargame Red Dragon cast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, please just take it easy.